Hi whiskey enthusiasts, this is Brett and I have a rum review for you today. I don't do very many rum reviews. However, this one is rather unusual and it's something that I saw on the market months ago, attempted to find someone who knew anything about it and had ever tasted it and was unsuccessful. So I have some of my own now. This is Don Maderas 5+5 rum, aged in Pedro Jimenez casks, among other things. The aging history of this rum is rather complicated, so I'm going to go over it as quickly as I can here, and I'm going to read part of it because I want to get it right. So first of all, the rum was distilled in both Barbados and Guyana. It was kept in the Caribbean for 5 years and aged there. Then it is moved to Spain. All right? When it gets to Spain, it does 2 more stages of maturation. It is first put for 3 years in Palo Cortado sherry casks, and then it is transferred for 2 more years to age in Don Guido Pedro Jimenez casks. Now, apparently both of these are Solara aged sherries, and the average age for both of them is 20 years old. Okay? So the casks used for the second 5 years of the maturation have had sherry in them for a very long time. All right? So that's what you get. When I first heard of this on the internet, I was very intrigued, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's start with the nose. The nose comes across at first as a very interesting combination of wine and brown sugar. They're balanced rather well. You don't get a specific fruit in your face like you do with some sherry finished scotch. The molasses / sugar influence of the base rum is still very prominent. There's a slight bit of a tropical coconut note in the nose, but I don't get any of the pineapple that I get with some rums, especially those from Jamaica. There's some spice mixed in with the dark sugar. And the fruit notes stay fairly wine related. It's a very pleasant nose. There's nothing overwhelming. There's nothing out of balance. There's a little bit of oak coming through as you nose longer. For a rum, this is a very complex nose. Most rums have a fairly straightforward and simple burnt sugar and maybe some tropical fruits like pineapple and maybe a little bit of coconut. The coconut is definitely there. but any pineapple that might have been there, I can't find it. It's either not there in this particular style of rum, or it is covered by the wine cask maturation. As I ponder that, though, it's possible that the reason that I'm not being able to identify specific stone fruits or dark fruits from the wine influence could be because those scents are being masked or transformed by the influence of the pineapple note that would often be a little bit in the rum. Those may be combining to make it a more generic fruit note. All right, so let's taste it and see where we go from here. The first thing that I notice about the palate is that it hits your tongue in a way more creamy way than you would normally get with rum. It has this flowing creaminess texture to it that's just awesome. I just love it. And it reminds me a lot of a malt whiskey. There's almost a cobbler flavor because you've got the caramelized sugar and molasses type notes coming out of the rum. You've got the darker fruits. You've got some things like white flesh plums and apricots coming in from the wine. And it makes it come off sort of as a baked cobbler effect. Although the spice is quite light in it, and that almost ruins that effect. But it's the closest thing that I can specify. There's almost a buttery taste in there too. And everything just blends so well. Honestly, I wish that I could put more specific names into this, but the melding of the different maturations is so well crafted that it all blends into a totality of flavors that are hard to pick apart. And I usually pick stuff apart quite a lot. I can tell you that this is one of the best rums for my particular tastes that I've ever had. There's no fire in it. There's no sickeningly overdone pineapple like I get in some Jamaican stuff. I was going to look at this. I didn't mention this. This is 40%, so it is only 80 proof. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot of burn. However, there's just nothing. It's just creamy and delicate and fruity and sugary at the same time. There's just barely enough spice and oak, and maybe a little bit of vanilla to balance it all out. Let's see what I haven't been paying attention to the finish. Let's see what that does. I get more of the coconut again at the beginning of the finish. You got coconut, very, very mild spices, and still that burnt sugar or caramelized sugar note. In fact, the flavors in the back end of the palate and into the finish do start to get a little bit caramely. So you move a little bit away from the straight sugar and the fruit into more of a caramel note. I like it. I like it all the way around. I would recommend anyone to at least try this once. If you're somebody that enjoys wine-finished Scotch, there's a good chance you're really going to like this. If you're somebody that drinks a lot of rum, you're going to like this, with the exception of somebody that really focuses on really high-proof rums. You might find that this doesn't have quite as much strength as you would like. Bourbon drinkers, there's nothing here that's really going to turn you away. And again, many bourbon drinkers are really, really into the high-proof stuff, and this isn't going to have that. However, there's nothing in it that's really going to make you wrinkle up your nose like some of you do for Scotch, those that don't like malt whiskey. This, to me, is a must-try. It is not a must-buy because individual tastes are going to vary a bit, but it's got its own thing going on. It's unique enough that I think you ought to try it. I know there are some whiskey bars that carry it, and I don't know, honestly, if this is a permanent release or if it's just going to be made now and never again. Don't know. But I would suggest that you try it. My ranking on this, on a 100-point scale, this is an 86 for me, which puts it in the excellent range. Excellent for our rating scale is 80 to 90. 91 and above is just something that's mind-blowing. I would rank this at an 86 for me. I don't know what it would come out to for everyone else, but this just fits with what I like to taste. And it's easy. It's not slapping you in the face with any one thing, but it's just really, really comfortable. And it's like that leather coat that you've had for years that you wear. It's just really comfortable, and that's how this rum is for me. So that's about all I can think to say about it. I somewhat apologize because I couldn't distinguish some of the individual notes, but I do think that that's partially because it's blended so well. So there you have my analysis. Somebody comment on this when I post it and let me know what you think of this rum. And go out there and find some whiskey you'll love. Goodbye.